Welcome to EdMed Talks. I'm Dr. Adam DeVico, an educator,
And I'm Dr. Jacqueline DeVico, a pediatrician.
and we're your husband-wife duo for all things parenting. All right, I think we hit a new chapter in our podcast now because we have our new additions.
True, our new little microphones.
All right, so for years now, literally, we've been recording this on my computer,
Yes.
and I think initially, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think initially we were literally just using the computer microphone for a minute.
For a minute, and then we got one of those big giant ones that you hooked up, and we had to strategically place it so that it was between us to pick up our voices well enough.
Yep.
A little closer to me because I'm a little more soft-spoken.
But we realized it's tough to get two of us on one microphone.
Yes.
And then we were at an event recently,
Mm-hmm.
and we got interviewed, and we saw that they had these little microphones, and there were two of them.
Yeah.
And I got
You got really
I got really
Yeah,
excited.
really excited. Yes.
And literally, it's just this little mic here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it, I guess, Bluetooths to this little thing I stick in my phone. So we're recording from my phone now, which I think has better quality picture anyway. So when we upload this to YouTube, it should look better and not like a 1993 camcorder that we did from Zoom. So hey, we're learning by the minute, and we are trying to improve the podcast.
Yes. But yes, I've never seen Adam get so excited being asked to be interviewed, but not be excited about the interview per se. It was the Chamber of Commerce that reached out to ask us some questions about being small business owners. And yeah, she just had these right attached to her phone, and Adam was like, "Oh, what is that?"
I didn't get much through. I mean, the interview was fine, but really the big winning moment was the microphones.
Yes.
And we also are donning, if you're watching us right now on YouTube, we are wearing our new shirts that we got.
No, yours is a shirt. Mine's a sweater.
Yours is a sweater. This is from what I would call the worst decision of my life day.
Yes. Yeah, that. I can't say I didn't warn you.
You did, but you did put a little bit of optimism in your voice as well. Like, it may not be that bad.
It was that bad. So what we're talking about is Friday after Thanksgiving, or as many people know, Black Friday. Adam had the great idea, let's take the kids to the Tanger outlets.
Well, no, I wanted to do something as a family.
Yes.
So.
Which was take the kids to the Tanger outlets.
That's where we landed.
And I looked at him and I said, so you want to go shopping in person on Black Friday with the kids? And he was like, yeah, why not? I was like, okay, well, maybe it won't be that bad. But I was trying to be a supportive wife. And I don't know, some places are not that busy on Black Friday. Tanger outlets were, though. They were a mess.
It was an absolute zoo.
Yes.
So it was not the highlight of the Thanksgiving weekend, but we did get a couple new pieces of clothes.
Yes.
So
comfy sweaters.
Yeah, for the cold weather now. So speaking of cold weather, I think there's my accidental transition into our topic today. We are going to talk about flu and RSV.
Yes. So we are starting to approach into flu season, and I would say we're in typical RSV season.
So for those who don't know what RSV is, like me,
yes.
Why don't you go ahead, give the non-medical doctor explanation for what is RSV and is it different than flu? And okay.
So when we talk about flu, we often refer to the influenza virus as the flu. RSV stands for respiratory syncytial virus. So that's the name of a virus. And so when people always ask, are certain things contagious? My answer is, well, the virus that causes them, or bacteria, is what's contagious. So if somebody says, is pneumonia contagious? Well, pneumonia itself is a result of the virus or bacteria that causes it. So you can have the influenza virus or the respiratory syncytial virus causing various things. What we worry about most with RSV is something called bronchiolitis. And what that is a lung disease that affects primarily babies, I would say kids under 2 in general. And what it does is it causes the medium-sized airways of our lungs, the bronchioles, to fill up with mucus. And when you've got large airways with mucus, we often call that bronchitis, and it's annoying, but generally you can breathe all right. Especially in a healthy pediatric population. RSV can be very dangerous for babies because once those medium airways fill up with mucus, they have a trouble breathing. And so often they need a lot of oxygen support and a lot of good suctioning to get through that. So that's why we care, and that's what RSV is. Now, can I catch RSV? Can Adam catch RSV? Absolutely. But as adults, we'll likely just get a gnarly cold with
All right. That's a good explanation. I mean, I got it. I got a lot there. Hang on,
Good.
I'm gonna fix you real fast because I just realized when you turn and talk to me, the
Uh-huh.
microphone's on the other side.
Oh, okay.
So
So
now
hopefully you're still picking me up. Okay.
I think it'll be better now.
All right.
Hey, episode 1 with microphones. We're learning as we go here.
Yes.
So, okay, so I know flu mainly from the teacher standpoint is go home and don't come back until you're better.
Yes.
That's about as far as I go as doctor teacher.
Yes.
What's the protocol?
Yes. So the protocol for the flu, and actually it's the same protocol for pretty much every respiratory virus that exists, is you want to be, so we need to hit kind of these three main criteria before being back at school. All right. So you need to be, and the biggest one with the flu is going to be fever free for 24 hours. So let me back up a second and talk about flu symptoms. Right. So typical flu symptom is going to be fever, usually can be pretty high fever, those body aches, pains, low energy. You have no appetite. You just feel like you were hit by a truck and you want to sleep. You can have some cough congestion, but you're usually not the snottiest you've ever been. You can have some stomach upset, some vomiting or diarrhea, but you're not typically like puking your guts out or running to the toilet constantly. The hallmark of the flu is those high fevers and body aches. So to go back to school with pretty much any respiratory virus, you need to meet three criteria. One, fever free for 24 hours without using Tylenol or Motrin to make yourself fever free. So, what's a fever? So, for most kids, school age, a fever is going to be 100.4 degrees sustained over an hour, or a 1 time 101. And so you want to be under that for at least 24 hours before going back to school. So that's criteria number one.
Mm.
And that's going to be the big one for the flu. Criteria number two, you want to be vomit free for 24 hours. Again, without using certain medicines to make yourself vomit free. And three, you're going to also want to be, I call it more uncontrollable diarrhea free for 24 hours before going back to school.
Glad we got the poop talk in because
Yes.
it wouldn't be a good episode of EdMed Talks without some poop talk.
We do talk about poop a lot on EdMed Talks.
We do. And I'm going to fix this one more time.
Sorry, it's the long hair.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I think it's picking up still.
All right.
We're going to see when we upload it.
How we sound.
How we sound.
Yes.
It'll record though.
Yes.
All right. So with those three criteria, you can come back to school. And I know I have had plenty of kids in my class who come back probably a little bit early, or at least on the back end, and they're still not feeling great. What are some good practices once you're in school again to not give it to everyone, even though that's going to happen? Because once one friend gets it, everyone and their mother and the teachers, they go down too.
Yeah. Well, the problem with a lot of these respiratory viruses, including the flu, is you're contagious with the flu, on average, it's anywhere from 24 to 48 hours before you start showing symptoms. So none of us know we're going to get the flu 24 to 48 hours in advance. So that's a big
we give
issue.
it to everyone.
So we give it to everybody,
Yeah.
yes. And you're usually pretty contagious within 2 or 3 days after you start showing symptoms. And my question to, a lot of times people will be asked, am I contagious? It's really not a yes or no answer. It's how contagious are you? Because there's there's a period of where you're only slightly and then it increases. And then after you have a disease, there's a period where you have some viral particles that just tend to linger.
Mm.
And I wouldn't say you're absolutely not contagious, but you're much less contagious. So I would say the biggest things to keep kids healthy and safe, whether to prevent them from catching diseases or help them keep others safe. So, number one is going to be good hand
Oh, I
washing.
knew you were going to say that. That's your favorite.
Well, it is because it's so simple and straightforward and easy, yet, and it can be incredibly helpful, yet, most families and kids don't wash their hands often enough and they don't wash them
All right, go,
correctly.
go ahead and give your correct hand washing speech because I know you have one.
Yes. So you want to wash for 20 to 30 seconds. Okay. You want to use soap and running water. All right. So you want to scrub the fronts of your hands. You want to scrub in between your fingers. You want to scrub the back of your hands and you want to scrub your wrists. All right. Watch any videos of surgeons or surgical nurses or anybody going to the operating room washing up and scrubbing. That is the correct way to wash your hands. Most kids come out of the bathroom or go before lunch and they go like this underwater and then
Or
they're
they
done.
put their hands, or they'll get soap on their hands, and then they'll wash their hands with the water while the soap's on there. So they're
Yeah,
literally washing the
washing the soap
soap
off.
off as they're rubbing their hands together. So
True. Yeah,
they
you
haven't
want to put the
cleaned
soap
anything.
all
Yeah,
around the
yeah,
hands and then put them
yeah.
underwater. Yes,
They're
that's a good way to do
washing
it.
soap off instead of actually washing.
Yes. Yes. So that's going to be one of the biggest ones. Um, I would say all of the good lifestyle things that we tell families as far as making sure you sleep well at night, getting exercise, eating a healthy diet, those all keep you quite healthy too.
Hmm.
Um, with the flu and with RSV, they're actually so with the flu for children, the and adults, the flu vaccine is available. For RSV, there's an immunization. It's not technically a vaccine because it's preformed antibody. You're looking, it's a shot. Um, for children 8 months and younger, under two, if you have certain high risk criteria. And those things absolutely can help keep you healthy. I know there's been a lot of talk about, well, the flu vaccine doesn't seem to work as well certain years. And it's tough to get a perfect match for the flu because you have to kind of estimate what flu strains do you think will be popular that year. But we do know that it's when it comes to hospitalizations and deaths, it's generally over 80% effective at those. It's not as great at preventing you from getting flu symptoms, but most people, especially if you get the flu vaccine year after year, if you do catch the flu, your symptoms are much milder and you generally recover faster than if you hadn't received the flu vaccine.
Which we gave out a lot of this year
Yes,
at
we did
Joyful
lots of flu
Pediatrics
clinics.
at with our first year
Yeah.
season of flu vaccines. We gave out hundreds and hundreds
Yes.
of flu vaccines. So yay,
Yes. Well,
it was
my
a good
big thing
time.
is I want to make it convenient for families. So I
Yeah,
held
yeah,
clinics, and you didn't have to be a member. Just anybody who wants themselves and their children to get the flu vaccines.
yeah.
We have you.
You went to businesses, you went to schools. People
Yeah.
came here to the office. So yeah, it was really successful. Good job.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's important. Last year, people don't realize this, but last year was one of the worst years for pediatric deaths from the flu. Approximately 280 children died of the flu.
Hmm.
And a lot of people think, oh, they must have all been sick or had chronic conditions. No, about half, I mean, a little less than half were otherwise healthy, and almost all of them did not have their flu shot. So, and no, in the scheme of things, 280 is not a giant number, but we're talking about pediatrics. So
Yeah,
for
yeah.
pediatric deaths, that's a lot.
Well,
Kids
and
aren't supposed to die.
bottom line, you don't want that 1 out of 280 to be your kid.
Exactly. Yes.
So, I mean, I would hope that that convinces someone out there
I hope
to
so.
to get it. All right, so that's flu.
Hmm.
Uh, RSV. Obviously, as a teacher, I don't really face RSV type things being in the upper grades
Yeah.
and school age. So, uh, what you already explained what is RSV. What are
Hmm.
the I guess the to dos to and don'ts of RSV for parents
Yeah.
or symptoms to look for?
So I would say the big things are going to be where we get worried about RSV causing bronchiolitis, which is the mucus in the medium-sized airways, is trouble breathing. So how do you know if a child's having trouble breathing? So when they're older, it's easy because they can tell you, "Hey, I'm having trouble breathing," or you notice that when they talk, they're breathing in the middle of sentences instead of completing full
Hmm.
sentences. Kids under two don't do that.
Right.
So, what we often look for is this physical signs of respiratory distress. So babies are going to start breathing a lot faster. They're going to do what's called belly breathing. So their belly's going to like jut out as they breathe. And then you're going to see the edge of their rib cage, and you'll see their individual ribs as they're breathing. Um, Sometimes when they're in respiratory distress, they'll have, we call it tracheal tugging, but as they breathe in, they'll suck in right here over the trachea. And they'll have some nasal flaring. So while they're breathing, their nose kind of flares out as they're breathing. Often, babies and kids in respiratory distress also do not eat very well. So that's a big sign. When it comes to treating bronchiolitis, really the only treatments that we have for it are going to be good booger suctioning. So, really sucking the mucus through the nose out of those airways.
That's your specialty.
Yes, I'm a good booger sucker.
Yes.
Every mom, every parent, not moms, every parent should be a good booger sucker if they've got babies.
What was that thing we had? Well, we had the little bubble.
We had the bulb. So the
yeah, we had
bulb
the
works
bulb.
okay in
But
newborns.
you had that other thing.
The nose Frida.
Good
Yeah.
Lord, that thing.
Where you put it in your mouth.
Yeah, I was that's mom's love right there, because I wasn't about to do that.
You know, they make battery operated ones now.
Oh, do they?
Yes, they make battery operated ones.
okay.
So you don't have to put your mouth on it. Though I do have a lot of parents, yes, usually moms, but a lot of parents tell me they feel like the ones where you suck yourself work better. So
Hey, to each their own.
Yeah.
And Jacqueline did the sucking booger thing many times.
Yes, often it takes two parents, but I teach people a one-handed or like a one-parent strategy, which does feel a little bit like your WWE wrestling, manhandling your child a bit, but they feel better afterwards. But for RSV, so for babies and infants and toddlers with RSV, the big treatments are good booger suctioning and supportive care. So supportive care just means oxygen if they need help breathing, and fluids if they're going to get dehydrated because they can't breathe and eat very well. So that's RSV is usually the number one reason, at least caused by a virus, that babies and kids are admitted to the hospital. But one of the biggest things that pediatricians are super excited about, 2 years ago, 2023, came out a product called Beyfortus, which, as I said, it's an immunization. It's actually, a lot of people who aren't in pediatrics think it's brand new, but it's actually similar to a RSV immunization that we used to give preemies. I'm gonna go deeper.
Yeah,
We have a little fire alarm beeper thing that keeps going off randomly.
And I'm back.
We have so back in the early 2000s, Synagis came out, and Synagis was a monthly immunization for babies who are at high risk for RSV. So then Beyfortus came out in 2023, and this lasted 5 or 6 months. So it was approved for all babies 8 months and younger. And so it is fantastic. It helped decrease rates of hospitalization of RSV 80 to 90%. And when you look at, and I'll tell you, kids who are otherwise healthy, I think it decreased it even higher, in like the high 90s. And when you look at kids who are hospitalized with RSV, if they did have the Beyfortus, the immunization, their average length of stay was like 2 days, versus kids who didn't have it, their average length of stay was 10 days. So it's huge. And so I will tell you, that's one of the biggest things pediatricians are most excited about that has come out in the last couple of years.
Cool. So you get that at what age?
So during RSV season, under 8 months. And so it's kind of a one-time immunization.
Okay.
So it's preformed antibodies, which means it doesn't stimulate your own immune system. It has the antibodies already there, so it's temporary. It lasts about 5-ish months, so it covers these babies during RSV season.
Cool. Well, obviously there's a lot of scenarios that every parent is going to go through when it comes to flu and RSV, and a lot of stuff that you just don't know, because most of us are not doctors. So I would say the number one thing is, when you're not sure, ask your pediatrician.
Absolutely, yes. And one thing I'll tell parents too, and you can, as a teacher, tell me if you agree with this or not. So technically, when it says return to school, I gave you the 3 precautions. You got to be 24 hours fever, vomit, and diarrhea free. But I also tell parents too, I want your child to have be up, have enough energy that they're kind of ready to learn and able to
Mhm.
participate in the classroom. They don't need to be 100%. Um, but I tell parents, if your child, honestly, if even if they don't officially meet criteria for staying home, if they're sleeping in bed all day
Mm.
without screens, they probably are better served at home. What's your
Yeah,
opinion?
yeah, absolutely, yes. You wanna send your kid to school when they are ready to learn, and not just learn, but interact with others.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than having a kid who's normally spunky and happy and just laying down with their head all day. I
Yes.
mean, it's not serving them well, it's not serving anyone in the class well,
Yeah.
so, uh, it is inconvenient as a parent, obviously, when your kid is sick and they gotta stay home. Sometimes you then have to stay home. We've both been
Hmm.
in that boat before where
Yes.
we've had to miss work or uh, a shift at the hospital or
Yeah.
whatever you were doing at the
It's
time.
yes, it's really hard
It's
as
hard, and
being a
we
working parent.
well, and we've had to call on babysitters
Hmm.
and neighbors and friends. We don't have family down here, so we've had to oftentimes call favors in. And
Yes.
obviously, if your kid's in daycare, then they have even stricter regulations
Absolutely. Yes.
with those things. So it's hard. I
Hmm.
get it, but I also know you don't want to spread that stuff,
True.
and uh, then it starts wiping out everyone.
Yes.
So that's no
Yeah.
fun either.
Well, and you don't know whose child, you don't know whose child has some type of immunosuppressive condition or parent or lives with a grandparent or,
Yeah.
you don't know everybody's story.
Mhm.
So just because your family is generally healthy doesn't mean everyone that you interact with is. And I
Yeah.
think that's important to keep in mind.
Absolutely. So, well, good stuff. You did a good job.
Thank
I
you.
didn't have much knowledge to contribute today because this is far out of my realm. But as we were thinking of episodes to do, we thought this is a timely one and one
Mhm.
that honestly a lot of people just don't know much about other than the names
Yeah.
and some general stuff. So I think this was really helpful today for the general population of people looking to understand what this is.
Well, thank
So
you.
I'll have more to contribute at another time. So go ahead, wrap us up.
All right. So, as we end every episode, there's no such thing as the perfect parent, but you can be the perfect parent for your child.